وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا اللهم ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا اللهم ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا اللهم ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم صل وسلم على الملائكة يركني nakol beba ala la bul ala mare nakol be sonni am ata nyaabe jeeri nakol be la ala mari ko ko muhammed ko ma so dala karola banko kan almalia be sonni min ko masta jang almalia sabati almalia jeedi a jama be bulu ala mari almalia kunya be sonni ata tamna hajo be bata ala bulu katameni masakunda ala malia sonni masakunda bulu ka be sonni a jamano moli banko moli o sallallahu ala sayyidina nabiyina muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam beten duro kelani jeyro masakundala salon ko mbele dimbalde bijang kontantan sewotante min dama fonola ko min bijang kontano mi so jang ta fonola bar mes birin santo fo duma mil bijam milti jambe be tentula be jayla salon kele dimbalde munti be jambi be jang som be jang sinedin wa sallallahu ala sayyidina muhammad wa sallam.
Thank you very much. Imam Ratib, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Well, viewers, that was the Imam Ratib of Farato. Just to remind you that if you just tune in and you are watching iAfrica TV, and we broadcasting live from Farato with the Ministry of Health of the Gambia on the construction of the waste management plant here in Farato under the Ministry of Health of the Gambia. Today would be the laying foundation ceremony. Mbokk yi kon ñu jaajëfal leen lu bari ci ànd bi ngeen di ànd ak iAfrica TV fi mu nekk nii ñu ngi fii ci Farato tey jii nag di war a tàmbali teg xeer bu njëkk li nga xam ne nag moom mooy tabax biñ bëgg a tabax fii waste management plant bi pour Ministry of Health ñu ànd ak national anthem bi. Thank you very much. You may take your seats. The Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate, other cabinet ministers here present. Wolle bina foundation stono ni landila purka dula londi me ya lonko ibe karle la westol manage la wolto nin kumu wolong kuol me ya lonko wolle kabo ila duko la karola wolon jata kende abunda nyen na duko karola ila mbalitol wala ku kote ndol ibe karla bonna dame ibe wole dada kuolto jang Farato West Coast region.
His Excellency, the Ambassador, People's Republic of China, and other members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, the National Assembly members here present, the Governor of West Coast Region and his representatives here, the Alcalo, the CFO, the World Bank Tax Team Leader, the National Coordinator COVID-19, representatives of other UN agencies, our able consultant, GAP Consulting, and the contractor, the members of the police band, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all other invitees, and all protocols duly and respectfully observed. It gives me great honor and pleasure to be here this morning and this afternoon now as Master of Ceremony to this very important milestone, which is the foundation stone laying of the Ministry of Health Clinical Waste Treatment Center, to be constructed in partnership with the World Bank at this beautiful city of Farato. On that note, and without much ado, I want to take the singular honor to introduce to you the rundown of activities on this program. My humble name is Muhammad Lamin Jaite, Permanent Secretary, 1 Ministry of Health. First of all, we will have remarks by the governor or his representative. Then we will have the overview, an introduction by the World Bank Tax Team leader to give us a quick background of preparations to this day. That will be followed by remarks by the World Bank country representative, Madam Faye Borofis. We will then have short remarks by our able consultant, GAP Consulting. Then we will have remarks by the contractor, represented by Kurbali. And finally, at the climax of events, we will have the foundation stone laying statement to be delivered by our able Honorable Minister, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate. Then we will have end of program, and we will move to decide for the foundation stone laying. Ladies and gentlemen, with these brief remarks and introduction, I will now take the honor and privilege to invite the Governor, West Coast Region, or his representative to deliver his remarks.
Kon ñoko dégg door kooku moo nekk Master of Ceremony bi di Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, number 1 Governor West Coast Region, or
Thank
his
you, Mr.
representative is the one called to the podium.
It's a very happy day for us in Comba South here, especially Farato. The governor right now is officiating at the launching at the of the contract, the road between Farato and Jambur. He's there with the 2 ministers of Agriculture and Information. And he's asked me to be part of the advance party here. I was here before everybody in this morning. Even before the health officials arrived, I was here before. So I have to rush there to be present. So I have to come back again to represent him here. Honorable Minister Samate, who is a son to me, I've missed you. I'm so glad to meet you here. Your Excellency, the Chinese Ambassador, representative of the World Bank, Alcalo Farato Imam Ratib, Permanent Secretary with your energetic team at the Ministry and the Department, members of the police band, hard-working people of Farato, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I give praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in this holy month of Ramadan, we are here to lay the foundation stone of a clinical waste treatment center.
And we are lucky that we in Combo South have been chosen to have, the site is within us here. We thank God and we feel highly honored. But Mr. Chairman or Moderator, I've been duly informed that this is a waste treatment center. This is a global issue. It's a global problem. And I need to congratulate the government of the Gambia for their vision, for the interest they have to dispose of our waste materials. I congratulate President Barrow and his government for that. Just a few days ago, I saw it on TV, a big ship loaded with waste material, refusing to be docked at any other port to dispose the waste material there. So if we are lucky that the World Bank has come to our rescue to have at least a treatment center here, say a big thank you once again. Mr. Permanent Secretary, Honorable Minister, allow me to use this venue to thank health workers all around the globe in their fight against this pandemic. Because of their devotion to duty, their life they have sacrificed, we now globally, we call them frontline workers. They deserve to be called frontline workers. Why? They've sacrificed their life, time, and energy to protect their fellow human beings. We need to thank them so much for that. To our Gambian counterparts, our frontline workers here, we don't have the money at the central bank to pay you for your services. It's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the universe, who can rain down his blessings onto you. And we pray that he'll pay you all the health workers who are on the field. We thank you so much for that. Because this pandemic is a worldwide thing, it's deadly. It needs all of us to come on board, to focus our attention, to fight it. And I know victory is also already been sighted in the horizon. We shall soon succeed. May Allah
sanity abiji purka maber ke nying berflo membe kila jetu nying ma project ko be men kono jang kom nga fale num nyameng abe kila health lambalitul ibe karla natila janto purka treat ka jeko ate mantoro natila hadama diuli sutu Gambia banku diuli andu nyimu kuleti me alonko melia sembendia wolong wall bank tia aning Gambia man sakunda aketa project balti katu ayeta man sero mendi wolong kulun na bikir in dunia kono meya long kombalito ba kono andung abe nyinindiro ke kang abe balito bonna dameng nyuwati tambila ika yitan di TV kono ko woku sifal ne aje abe kiri nyin nyondo ko le manke bankol kono andunga akamunta ko Gambia man sekunda be lorin simfalla pour ka nyung ku sifal bang dunia kono janto surtout Gambia banko kang anata murunan kote ke ka man sekunda tentu ka adama baro fanan tentu anala man sekunda bake mbokk yi comme niñ ko déggee woon rek représentatif gouverneur moom moo doon addu ci ay kàddoom jaajëfal nguuru Barrow ñu dégluwaat ñi nekk ci podium bi dellu si
His Excellency Honorable Dr. Amadou Lamine Samate, Minister of Health, members of the Cabinet, senior government officials here present, the Chinese ambassador, the resident representative World Bank, members of the representatives of the development partners, the governor, religious leaders here present, local leaders, the hardworking Ministry of Health personnel, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. As you are all aware, last year, the COVID-19 pandemic took the world by storm. Nearly all countries were scrambling to see how best they could contain it. Even this year, we've had several countries that have had spikes of the COVID-19. In the Gambia, it wasn't different. Initially, the response was not easy, but with time, it improved. I want to congratulate the Ministry of Health, the Minister of Health, for his leadership in this effort. But unfortunately, recently we've had the development of the COVID-19 vaccines. And I think that is the game changer, so to say. Last month, we all witnessed at the State House the launch of the COVID-19 vaccination. And the president himself led this in getting himself vaccinated. And I want to take this opportunity to say that for the general public, it is very important to note that the benefits of having COVID-19 vaccination far, far outweighs the risk of not having it. And we hope people would rush to the nearest vaccination centers to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Anyway, I'm delighted. We are here for a foundation laying ceremony. So let me not talk so much about the COVID itself. I'm delighted to be here to be part of this foundation stone laying ceremony. It has been a long road, I must say. I remember I came here from Washington on a World Bank mission in September 2019. When I finished the mission, I was about to leave, and I realized that, look, I haven't talked to the Minister of Health. He was then a new minister. It's important to know what his vision is, and then we see how best we can support the health sector. So at the end of the mission, I knew he was in New York, attending the UN General Assembly meetings. So instead of going directly to Washington, I took a detour, went to New York to meet with him and the Vice President of the Republic. We had a very good, lengthy discussion. But one of the issues that he placed on the table and requested for the World Bank support had to do with the poor state of healthcare waste management in the country. I recall he told me a story. He said when he was then in charge of the Edward Francis Teaching Hospital, there was a day he was sitting in his office looking through the window, and he saw a vulture. I don't know what it was, a vulture, another animal, another bird, that was going through the waste from surgery. And the vulture took a body part, flew into the air over a water reservoir. And he told me, can you imagine what would have happened if this fell into the water? That would have been disastrous. And I think I agree with his observations. Healthcare waste, all the way from EFSTH in Banjul to Brikama, leaves much to be desired. I came back for a mission. I came back in January last year, and with that in mind, I had meetings with Dr. Buba Majang, the Director of Public Health Services, as well as his team, the Environmental Health Manager, Sekou Fatajo. We had discussions, and I was telling him that, look, we have issues here. How do we resolve this healthcare waste management challenge in the country? So we decided that they need to do a situational analysis and come up with solutions for modernizing healthcare waste in this country. At that time, in the previous World Bank project, we had supported the construction locally made incinerators, 37 facilities in the 5 other regions. But we're having issues with them. So we said we need to come out with a solution that is sustainable, environmentally friendly, what have you. So they got to the task, they came out with some solutions, potential solutions. We discussed at length, and we said, okay, later in the year, when we'll have a new World Bank project, we will try to incorporate this into it. But fortunately or unfortunately, a couple of months later, COVID-19 reared its ugly head. And we said, well, this is an opportunity, let's take it. So as part of that, a modern ergosterile waste treatment machine two machines have been procured. They are currently sitting at Kotu. The government allocated the land initially for its construction, but the place that it was allocated happened to be in a densely populated area, so it wasn't suitable. So we went round and round, and eventually, and we are lucky that it came to Farato eventually. So that is how come we are here today. I must congratulate the Minister of Health for his foresight. If it hadn't been that, I'm not sure we would have been here today, because he planted that in my mind, that this is something that make sure that you help us to resolve. The Ghost machine is environmentally friendly. It uses a microwave disinfection technology, and it doesn't spew gases, pollutants into the air, so it's very safe to use. And I'm sure you'll hear more about it when the contractors and the consultants give their remarks. So in short, I want to conclude by saying that we are pleased we have this opportunity, and we look forward to the construction of the Clinical Waste Treatment Center. I cannot end by giving special thanks to the Ministry of Health staff. They've worked very hard to bring us to this stage. I also want to thank my friends, GAP consultants. GAP consultants were the ones who were competitively selected to do the design. They've done very beautiful designs, as you have seen. But when it comes to the supervision of the construction, you'll be pleased to know that they decided not to charge any services. It's going to be done for free. And we are truly grateful to GAP consultants for this. Now, we have to hand over the baton to Kurubali Construction. We hope they can complete this building in a record time. But it's also very important that they pay attention to environmental and social due diligence. Environmental and social requirements are very key from the World Bank side. Without much ado, I must say that I'm very excited, and we look forward to coming back here again in a few months' time for the commissioning of the Clinical Waste Treatment Center. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mills, for that explicit background. I think we must follow that with commendation to the Honorable Minister and yourself for having had that fruitful engagement that has yielded this project. On that note, I want now us to recognize their effort with a round of applause, please. Now, it is my singular honor and privilege to invite the World Bank resident representative, Madam Faye Borofis. I am informed that the Lord Governor of West Coast Region has just arrived. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister, Dr. Samate, the Governor who just arrived, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Traditional rulers, religious leaders, thank you for coming to today's event. Our diplomatic community, thank you for coming. Thank you all for being here today. We are really pleased at the opportunity to really start this important endeavor. I think Sam already laid the foundations, but just to talk a little bit about the World Bank and our activities in the Gambia, I think it would be useful. When I landed here early September 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, I really didn't know what I had in store for myself, but I'm happy to say that we have really been working hard, and the government has been working extremely hard, even in the midst of this pandemic, to make sure that the Gambia emerges better, emerges stronger. And that's a really important thing. We say, you have to take advantage of every crisis that you have. And I believe that the Gambia is taking advantage of this crisis to build back better. So from the World Bank, a lot of times I find that people are not really clear on what we do. The World Bank Group is made up of 5 institutions, and we focus on knowledge sharing with governments, financing governments, and assisting governments in accomplishing their development goals. Under the World Bank Group, we have what is called the International Development Association, which we call IDA. And IDA is the organization that works very closely with the poorest countries, providing very low interest, non-concessional loans, and also grants. And I'm happy to say that the Gambia is a grant recipient. So that is, basically free funding, which this healthcare center is also part of the activities. Now, Sam talked a little bit about the COVID response. I'm happy to say that we were one of the first, and we are one of the largest supporters of the COVID response, starting with the $10.9 million health COVID response project, which is also funding this health waste treatment center. But in addition, we had several other projects which we reoriented to address the COVID pandemic. We had a social protection project, which was developing the first cash transfer project in the country, that we were able to repurpose about $10 million of it for the NAFA Quick. Please, if you heard of NAFA Quick, just a quick raising of hands. Okay, I hope a lot of you heard of NAFA Quick. We were able to support the government in that initiative, and we're really proud of that. But we want to see, an actual cash transfer system for the poorest become part of the system, and that we're working on that. We also had, even in our energy project, we purposed about $2.5 million to providing PPE support to NAWEC, but also even support to schools. And then we had an education project that was also that was funded by the Global Partnership for Education, which really supported the education response to COVID. So we had a broad range of support to COVID, and that is why the Gambia is actually doing much better than a lot of countries in the world right now, even though we know we are still in the midst of it. And I'm happy to announce that even just yesterday, $8 million was approved for additional financing for vaccines for the Gambia. So that is for us, we're really proud of that effort. And I really want to just emphasize the importance of getting vaccinated so that we can overcome this pandemic. I'm vaccinated, I'm here standing talking to you today. So, you can do it. We're all doing it. Please get vaccinated. Thank you very much. So basically, we are really proud of our work in the health sector. We're proud of Dr. Sam. Everybody acknowledges the level of effort that he has put towards this work. And the Ministry of Health has been really spearheading the effort to rebuild the healthcare system in the Gambia. It is a really critical activity, one that we are fully supportive of, even with our new health project, our $30 million health services strengthening project. And we look forward to continuing to partner with the Ministry of Health as we move forward to making the Gambia a place where you can get superior health care. I'm really excited once again to witness today, and we look forward to seeing the strengthening of the health services sector in the Gambia. Thank you for having me.
Okay, mbadin lukum le amoy na atila kita World Bank country representative ti Gambia Bangkokan and World Bank fana mo kundalti maya lonkate fana blow be nying project ko kono janto nying kita te kuma balti pour ka je ko de Gambia man sakunda ni World Bank e blow du nyona pour ka nying waste treatment plant lo Gambia janto membe kiri bi foundation lo la jang faratu jang ndung janate fanang men diamuta num fanang we nyin dulala kumaya jel fole okay ta aning constructor
and his excellent medical team at the ministry, traditional chiefs, cabinet ministers, diplomats, all other protocols observed. I cannot, like the chief of Kombo, claim Dr. Samate as a son. I think I'm way too young for that, but I can certainly claim him as a colleague with whom I served on various committees, during his previous life, that is. Now, of course, I have to address him as Honorable Minister. My name is Roddy Cole. I work with a firm called Gap Consultants, and we were lucky enough to have been selected by the Minister of Health to assemble a design for the Clinical Waste Treatment Center. We took this task very seriously, and have to say thank you to Sam and to the Ministry of Health for responding to all our queries in good time and to providing the various specifications that we needed. The end point is that we have over 100 drawings as well as detailed technical specification and bills of quantities for the project. A brief word about the design itself. The building will be located towards that direction, about 35 meters from the front fence, and that's where the main access will be into the facility. We'll have a lot of space at the back because I think the ministry has some plans for incinerators and various other facilities. The building itself, it's a pretty big building, about 40 meters by 15, that's 600 square meters is the building footprint. And it also has a small mezzanine floor above which accommodates a staff room and various offices. The main enclosure on the ground floor is the actual space, the workspace where the machine, the equipment will be located. It allows for washing down the machine, etc. On both sides, there's an access and a point of departure so that the medical waste will be brought in on wheelie bins and will offload directly into a raised platform on the left-hand side. And then when the waste is disposed of, the wheelie bins will be cleaned out and will be delivered on the right-hand side where they will be picked up by trucks and taken back to the various health facilities. Structurally, I'm sure you don't want me to go into the detailed structural calculations, but it is a reinforced concrete frame sitting on pillars. The pillars are sitting on foundations. The foundations had to be thought through because we were told when we did a geotechnical inquiry that the soil was not very load-bearing. So we had to extend the part so that it's capable of supporting the whole structure. So like I said, it's a reinforced concrete frame and with block walk panels. It is the thermal design was thought through very carefully because we did not want to use air conditioning. So it's a very tall building, so the heat accumulates on top. It has high level and low level windows, as well as industrial type fans, so that the room will be relatively cool for the machine to operate. The roof itself, there's a roof with collarbone roofing sheets, as well as a ceiling. And then we've introduced insulation between the roof and the ceiling such that, as I said, the building itself remains quite cool and is fit for purpose. With regard to the services, in addition to the main connection to NAWIC, we have a solar system which feeds an emergency circuit. So should NAWIC go off and if the generator is not on, then we still have power to the main circuits. In addition to the solar system, there's going to be a standby generator, and we have a water tank and a water pump as well, so that we're able to store water. Within the building, we have a cold room, such that when wastes are brought to the facility, if for some reason they're not able to be disposed of immediately, they are kept in this cold room, and which prevents decomposition and all that, and hopefully they'll be processed the next day. So that's basically an outline of the building. With regard to selection of a contractor, the job was tendered competitively. I think 7 firms expressed interest, and subsequently, after they were forwarded the bid documents, 5 firms, all of them Gambian, submitted very competitive bids. We are very proud that after a thorough evaluation, we selected Kurubali Construction. I congratulate them on submitting a very competitive bid. And I hope that from here on, ourselves as consultants and Kurubali as contractor can engage productively so that we're able to complete the project on time and on budget. I thank you for your time.
kooku moo
Thank you very
nekkoon
much,
consultant bi ci project bi jaajëfal na itam nguur gi ci yaakaar ak kóolute bu ñu am ci moom ba dénk ko project bi pour mu mën koo liggéey ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy constructors yi di Coulibaly construction company bi lim doon wax noonu nag ci kàllaamay nasaraan it mooy building bi nu moo mel bu demee ba pare ndax dina méngoo ak jamono te itam li waral sax ñu samp ko fii itam mooy yaakaar nañ tam ne comme comme bërëb la bi nga xam ne ay mbalit yi bàyyeekoo ci buntu jëwriñ bi gàlloo wàllu wér-gu-yaram la dina ittewoo lool pour ñu gis ne def nañ ko ci bërëb bi nga xam ne du lor itam askan bi ak tabaxin bi tam mu doon tabax bi nga xam ne bu mucc ayib la méngoog jamono ci wàllu set ak sellal dina ci boole na ci itam liggéey gi itam yaakaar ak kóolute bu mu ci am ci ñi nga xam ne ñoom la ko dénk pour gis ne liggéey nañ ko ci waxtu te itam ñu jeexal ko ci waxtu pour nguur gi war cee mën a jot tàmbali lii di liggéeyam ñu ngi séntuwaat keneen ci waxkat yi pour mu ñëw ci podium bi am ay kàddu yi nga xam ne gaaral na ko.
Mr. Kubali from Kubali Construction to bless us with some few remarks.
Honorable Minister of Health, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, Honorable Governor of West Coast Region, Project Consultant GAP, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed with great pleasure and humility to stand in front of these great gatherings of importance. I will first of all like to thank the Ministry of Health for the trust and confidence in awarding Global Construction Company Limited a contract of this importance, which is the construction of Clinical Waste Treatment Center at Farato and Edward Francis Hospital in Banjul. Without burst of prejudice, I can tell you that this contract was not awarded to Kurbali Construction by chance or luck, but based on careful assessment of our past performance. As we know, this government believes that development means improving life of its citizens, and as the Gambia is on a new development trajectory and decentralizations of government policies and programs, in which we are also ready to contribute our quota in building a new Gambia for Gambians. From 2017 to date, we have successfully executed a high number of contracts for the governments of the Gambia throughout the country. Honorable Minister, just to mention few, the construction of a bilingual education project nationwide, the construction of mixed farming centers for the Ministry of Agriculture, the construction of the newly Birkama Area Council's office complex and governor's offices and residence for North Bank regions, which are soon will be handed over to the beneficiaries. And also, Krubali Construction has implemented 120 classrooms and 3 new senior secondary schools at Sanyang, Gunjur, and Somita, which is now at 95% completion. Honorable Minister, we hope to repeat a great success in this region in few months to come. Honorable Minister, in order to achieve this success, we would like to solicit the support and anticipation of your ministry, the consultant, and every protectrix, males and female associated to this project, to see we succeed in building a deserved clinical waste treatment center for this region. Gambia is at work, and every department and every individual has a critical role to play. We are also here to play our role to make sure that we execute this important project within the stipulated time of 6 months with standard and professionalism. Finally, I will conclude by assuring the Minister and his team that we will do our best in constructing a center that the beneficiary truly deserve. Once again, I thank you for the confidence you bestowed on our company and reassure you of our unflinching commitment to make sure a success story. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Proprietor Kubari Construction. I think we will reserve our gratitude to you, and then in a few months' time, we will come back here and we will do that better. Distinguished audience, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come close to the climax of our day's program. And but before I give the floor to the next speaker, I would crave the indulgence of all of you through the Honorable Minister to make some special recognitions because I feel obliged as Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, to also recognize the efforts of the technical team at the level of the ministry who has been very diligent and very hardworking and steadfast in working with our partners, making sure that they are satisfied with timelines, that we have been able to attain milestones, not to let them down, because if we are supported, we need to be there. And as a humble Permanent Secretary, you all know that we will be, our job mainly is administrative, and you could imagine bogged down with daily routine at the office. If you don't have strong technical people, a project like this could really suffer. And in this case, we didn't experience that. Therefore, it's my honor and privilege to respect, first of all, the Director of Health Service, Dr. Mustafa Bitey, who has been leading the process. And to him, to all the thematic heads that have really been working with them. But I am also obliged to equally recognize the very strong efforts and leadership of the Director of Public Health Services and his environment team. This is an environment-related activity, and so if they have not been there for us, it would have been catastrophic, and so we recognize them. But also, we want to recognize the efforts of the National Coordinator. Personally, he has given me personally, guidance and courage, because at some point, some of us think we cannot bear with the tide, but then he has always kept us encouraged, and we thank him very much. Now, about the organization, there is a, if you look at the arrangement here, you will know that a very efficient team has been behind this. And therefore, I want to thank the organizing committee under the leadership of the Health Promotion Director, Mr. Murinjai, and his team. So, we also want to thank the rest of collaborators, and just to say we are very happy and we are thankful to all of you. But as a tradition, I would like to invite the Director of Health Service to also just give a short word of thanks. find the place to from here.
Yeah, no. Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate, Your Excellency President, the Ambassador of China and his team, the World Bank country representative in the Gambia, and the TTL, our brother and colleague in Minister of Health now. We've tried to take ownership of him, Dr. Samuel Lante Mills, the GAP consultant representative, Mr. Rudy Cool. We've been in different committees together and discussing about the designs of this and various other projects. The governor, the alcalde and imam of this important community, my colleagues from Ministry of Health, especially the permanent secretaries, both of them very dynamic, very hardworking, and very supportive. That is our MC here today, Permanent Secretary 1. We call him PS Jaite, but he's Muhammadul Amin Jaite. And PS2, we call him PS Damfa, but it's Lamin Damfa. And my colleagues also in the technical area, like all present, Dr. Buba Manjang, Mr. Njai, and many of the other colleagues from the Ministry of Health, the press and everybody else here present and come to grace this very important occasion. We thank you and we greet you in the best way, that is, may God continue to give you peace. My role here is very simple, but I feel there is a big honor for me to be here today, to be able to say thank you for all this wonderful work that has happened. So what is left, you can say, is tip of the iceberg. A lot of things has happened in the background to lead us to where we are today, standing in a land that we can say is for building of ultra-modern system. This system, probably you will not find it very common in this whole of Africa. So it's a very ultra-modern, very safe, environmentally friendly system. And why we are going for this, Dr. Sam Mills has already stated, is because of the foresight of the type of minister we have. His view is, what is best good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for Europe, America, should be good for Africa. And we should not aim low. We should always aim to have the best for our people. And it's in that light that we have this. So first, to thank Allah for allowing this opportunity. I think that's why we are blessed with this type of leadership that has the interests of the people at heart. So we thank Allah for that, and we thank the Honorable Minister once again for the foresight. He sits in all the meetings, he asks, and no matter, I feel that I update him too much, but he still feels that that's not enough. He always wants to know what is going on, he wants to give his input, and so you could see that the guidance, at every point, it has its input, and that's why we are here today. I know everybody's been careful not to give in a lot of information because we have very, very big projects that we are working on for the future. But I can tell you that the Honorable Minister has been involved in every bit of it and providing guidance, and we thank you, sir. And may Allah continue to guide him, to give him long life and health to be able to do that. We also have to thank colleague ministers of his, because like Sam said, we have to go through a lot of processes. And Minister of Lands, Minister of Justice, Minister of Finance, all helped to ensure that, at the end, we could have these places that are available for us to use. So we thank them. They are not here today, most likely because of many other important issues, but we recognize their efforts and their ministry's efforts. And that also culminated to also thanking the President of the country for having the foresight and leading all this. So we also thank World Bank. World Bank, the TTL, and the office. First time we made our plan, we just did a plan of, I think, 8 million. And they just came up to say, for example, for the COVID plan, don't worry, we can give 10 million. And then when we redid our plan, we looked at it again, and we saw that actually we really underestimated a lot of things. And the plans went to 40-something million. And still they keep supporting, and the government supported. So thank you very much, Robert. So especially for Sam, he's not only after the finances to help provide, you come and defend, but he also wants to help you in the processes. He wants to guide you throughout the World Bank processes. I think that's why Mr. Krubali, Sam is trying to tell you that, the World Bank, they don't take it kindly if the environmental issues are not respected. So the procedures of the World Bank, they are very stringent, they are very strict. And if you don't have the required guidance, it could cause a lot of delays. And we've not been having delays. It's because of the guidance we continue to have from Sam and his team. So Sam, thank you very much. So the community here who helped us, who have not complained, and who really are happy that we are here. And we have very big plans for this community. And so we are very grateful that the leaders of this community are very welcoming. So Governor, your team, the Imam, the Alcalo, please, thank you very much. And I'm sure the minister will tell you that this is your own. Wherever we go, if we have projects, he leaves the ownership with the community. So this is your own, and we are happy the way you started. Keep it up, and thank you so much. This part, PS Jeta has already done a bit of it, but it's just to talk about some of our technical people like Dr. Buba Manja. We call him the action man. He doesn't waste time. He's in a hurry to start things, and he's been very, very, very hardworking to ensure that we reach this level. Dr. Manjang and his team can be relied on. You tell them, show them what we want to do, and they support you 100%. And they execute, and you get results. So Dr. Manjang, thank you for doing this, and your team. It's highly appreciated. So the organizing committee that has ensured that we have this. I was surprised when I reached here. Unfortunately, I couldn't come here throughout, and I was really touched by the amount of work that was done to ensure that it was such a nice one. But I can assure you that in the inauguration, it will be even better. So thank you very much for the whole organizing team, where Dr. Manjang, Mr. Njai, myself, and all others are. But you can see that my role was very insignificant. So thank you very much to the organizing team for all what you've done. So the GAP consultants, like I said earlier, I've been in the same committee with them on other projects, and they are after excellence. They don't believe in shortcut, and they believe in frank issues and frank discussion. So Mr. Rudy and your team, thank you very much for helping us to reach this far. It's highly appreciated. So the press and all present, we thank you, and we tell you that we have a lot in stock, and inshallah together we will reach very high heights. So thank you all. Anybody we've left behind, it's not intentional, it's probably the excitement, because I feel that I'm standing on historic time, historic grounds. I look back 10 years from now, I'll be very happy to say I was part of this, and we are all part of this. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, DHS. And now, ladies and gentlemen, can you join me in giving a round of applause to our next speaker, Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman of the occasion, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health. Thank you very much, Dr. Bitey. I think this is historic, and we're all happy to be part of this history. But that's the important thing. What we are able to do whilst we have the opportunity to perform for our countries. I think that's the legacy. We should all strive to leave a legacy during our tenure. Even if it is for one day, what have we been able to leave behind for our people? That is the important thing. I start by recognizing our host, the governor of the region, the CFO of the region, the Alcalo of Farato, the Imam of Farato, for allowing us to be in their region, in their town today, to be able to do this. I acknowledge your presence, and I say good afternoon to you all. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Gambia, Ambassador Ma Jianchun, the World Bank Country Representative to the Gambia, Madam Faye Boniface, the World Bank Health Task Team Leader, Dr. Sam Mills, the National COVID-19 Coordinator, Mr. Yaya Sanyang, the two permanent secretaries of the Ministry of Health, PS Jete and PS Damfa, the various directors of the Ministry of Health here present, the Director of Public Health, the Director of Health Promotions, and other directors here present, the Regional Director of the region, and all their staff here present. We did invite the National Assembly members, my own brother, Sekuba Jaju. I haven't seen him yet. He promised to be here, but he's very passionate about this. And the National Assembly member for the constituency, Honorable KKB, at least your representatives all present here. The chairman of the Brikama Area Council, the heads of various government institutions, the GAP consultants and Krubali Construction, the police band, always there inspiring us. Your music is inspirational. It makes us more and more determined. I will start by saying, each time the police band plays, even if we are sleeping for 6 hours a day, we want to sleep less so that we work for this country. Your music inspires us. Thank you. The ladies and gentlemen of the media who have been there throughout, come rain, come shine, we've been in it together from the beginning, and together we'll continue to make sure that the healthcare system of this country gets to the level it deserves to get to. The people of Farato, the community of Farato, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen here present, we say to you all thank you for attending this occasion. But we first of all start by apologizing for the late start due to circumstances beyond our control. We sincerely apologize. We're not going to take much of your time hereafter. But today we are witnessing yet another milestone in the response to COVID-19 in the Gambia, on the laying of the foundation stone of the Clinical Waste Treatment Center, which is one of the World Bank supported sub-projects in Farato. Healthcare waste management is the total stream of waste from health facilities. This includes sharps, non-sharps, blood, body parts, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and in some cases, radioactive materials. Poor management of the healthcare waste exposes healthcare workers, the waste handlers, and the communities to infection, toxic effects, and can result in disease or injury. The management of healthcare waste has become an urgent need to safeguard the public health from adverse effects caused due to improper management of the healthcare waste. In the Gambia, medical waste disposal has become even more difficult due to inadequate and insufficient infrastructural facilities for the management and treatment of clinical waste. The majority of the healthcare institutions do not practice safe waste handling, storage, and disposal methods because of inappropriate infrastructure and even lack of the appropriate knowledge. I'm happy, was of course surprised that Dr. Sam Mills remembered our encounter. I didn't remember all the details of that, but he has a vivid memory of our encounter when we mentioned a vulture picking up human intestine. That was necrotic, that was rotten, We operated on a patient, and part of the intestine was resected and put at the dump site in the hospital before it could be taken to the dump site at mile 2. A vulture came and picked the intestine and was flying with it, and went and actually stepped on the water tank of the hospital, and that's where it was trying to eat it. So if the water tank actually had holes, you can all imagine what might have happened. So that really was touching, but that is about to change. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the period, it has been a challenge for the Ministry of Health to properly manage the clinical waste generated from the health facilities across the country, and as a result, the availability of a functional clinical waste management facility was prioritized by the ministry and supported by the World Bank. And we are laying the foundation stone of that clinical waste treatment center here today. The rationale behind having this important facility is to enhance the proper management of clinical waste, and as well protect the healthcare workers, the patients, the communities, and the environment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, medical waste presents high risk to doctors, nurses, public health officials, drivers, technicians, orderlies, health laborers, hospital visitors, and the patients themselves, due to the arbitrary nature of the management of the waste as we have in this country today. Now, this has been a thing of so many years in this country. Waste generated from health facilities are taken actually to the normal waste dump sites. So it is a common observation that some people, especially women and children, collect some of these medical waste from the dump sites. They wash them, and only God knows what they use them for. Some may find themselves in the markets to be used as containers to sell foodstuff. So it is a very risky thing. Therefore, the collection of disposal of these items, especially syringes, will help in a long way to curb the spread of diseases, especially HIV and hepatitis, because these syringes could prick people who go to visit the dump sites. Accidentally, children could use them and play with them. They could use it on each other, thereby contracting diseases like hepatitis, which is very contagious, and HIV. So you can see the importance of having this facility here today that will be able to deal with all these challenges that we've enumerated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the management of medical waste requires segregation, collection, temporal storage, safe and appropriate transportation, proper treatment of the waste, and proper disposal. Healthcare workers and waste handlers need to wear proper personal protective equipment regularly during collection, storage, and transportation of clinical waste. It requires multi-sectoral collaboration and partnership to enhance its management in order to address this big challenge. The World Bank will be supporting the Ministry of Health with 4 clinical waste collection trucks. So it is not just the construction of the waste management center. We are equally going to get 4 clinical waste collection trucks. So we thank the World Bank. What that also means that, what it means is that the medical waste now will not even be transported in the municipal waste trucks, which is also a potential source of concern, potential risk to municipal workers. So we'll have specialized trucks now that will go to all the health facilities and collect clinical waste, only clinical waste and nothing else, to be brought to this center for processing. In the area of capacity strengthening, the World Bank has supported the training of healthcare workers on clinical waste management and provided them with the required equipment and materials. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have seen, yes, COVID-19 had been a big challenge for the country, but we have gotten a leadership in this country that is headed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Adam Barrow, who has given his unflinching support, total commitment, and the liberty to the sectors to be innovative, to think broadly, to come up with solutions and ideas that government will look at and support to improve the conditions in this country, and the healthcare sector is not left behind. At this juncture, we certainly thank our partners, the World Bank, under the leadership of Madame Faye Boniface herself, for her immense support, for being there throughout, for working with the Ministry of Health, for being a leading partner in supporting the activities before COVID, during COVID, and probably, inshallah, COVID will end someday, and even after COVID, because we had the essential healthcare package that was being carried out before COVID came, and it is even been extended to another couple of years by supporting the ministry and the agencies with up to $30 million for the health facilities for the various aspects, and we thank them very much. Certainly, Mr. Sam Mills, Dr. Sam Mills has been there throughout, working, supporting, and giving the guidance. Fortunately, this is done in a real-time fashion. What that means is they work together with our technical team members. The concepts are developed. He advises. He brings forward the World Bank guidelines so that they do things according to the World Bank guidelines and following the Ministry of Health and the government guidelines as well. Decisions are taken, and this is one of the outcomes of those decisions behind the scenes. And we thank you, Sam, for all your hard work and working behind the scenes and with our team members. But I must tell you, all this is possible because the partners have developed confidence in the government of the day. Because I don't think World Bank would have come up with all these things, all this support, if they didn't have confidence in the leadership and the people of the country. So we thank His Excellency, the President, for coming up with such exemplary leadership, the commitment, and the transparency, because you have seen how transparent the processes have been. From the selection of the consultants, from the selection of the contractors, they have mentioned it all here. They were the ones working on it. They had the liberty, the freedom, without interference, to carry their work out in due diligence, to do the selections. Because I think in Gambia that is what we need. The professionals need to be given the liberty without interference so that they do selection processes following due diligence, abiding by the rule of law, so that we get the best selected to carry out the functions that they need to. By so doing, we'll get beautiful products for the people of this country, and we thank them all. But we have to say, I say to the governor of the region, the Seford, as the chief of the region, the Alcalo and Imam, we want to tell you that Farato is becoming a hub. This is just the start. This is the beginning of a big project in Farato. The entire complex, this land, this Farato farm had been given to the Ministry of Health to develop. So from now onwards, after this project, in the next few months, we'll come and do another launching, which will be the launching of the construction of the emergency treatment center of 100 beds in Farato, next door very soon. The new national reference laboratory for the Gambia is going to be on this plot of land as well. The new national blood bank for this country is also going to be on this plot of land again very soon. And to cap it all, this plot of land, this vast expanse of land, is what is going to host the new teaching hospital of the Republic of the Gambia. So, Mr. Commissioner, the Alcalo, Sefo, and Imam, your Farato is going to be a very, very busy town in this country. It is going to attract people from all over this country because people are going to come here for medical services that are not available anywhere in this country. And I must tell you, with regards to the construction of the teaching hospital, we have been discussing with the partners, and we've already engaged His Excellency Ambassador Ma, and they've already given commitment that the Chinese government is going to support. So a lot is happening, and I think very soon the people of this country, you've already started seeing, or you've already seen the development projects of this government, the government of His Excellency President Barrow. But in the next few months, you are going to see a whole lot, because we are going to be launching a whole lot of new projects, and inaugurations will come following each other, because there are a lot of projects, especially in the health sector. Mr. Governor and your team, we are equally upgrading a number of health facilities in your region to the level of major health centers. We have started the process, and work will soon commence, and we'll invite you to come and witness those as well. We have known the high population density in the region and the need for essential services, and government is going to match that with increased number of facilities, bigger facilities with more and more functions. I'm very happy that people have mentioned the issues of quality here, and we are happy that in the design, due diligence was paid and a great attention was paid to the functionality of the design, the quality of the structures, and we are happy that the GAP consultant has mentioned all the efforts and all the steps they are put in place. So we certainly want to remind the contractor as well. The Ministry of Health settles for nothing less now than the best. We are very particular about the quality of work. It's no longer business as usual, that we build a structure. 2 years down the line, the doors are falling. 2 years down the line, the wash hand basins are not functional. The roof is leaking. The toilets are not functioning. Or even from the inauguration, we realize that the walls are cracking, or the walls are not smooth, and so on and so forth. No, we are not settling for that in this country now, especially the Ministry of Health. It has to be standard as it would have been in Europe or America or in China. The quality of work in those countries is what we want for this country. So, Mr. Krubali and your team, our people know our concept, they know our mindset. So you'll be visited here by many people who will not stand by and watch work that should not be done being done. I know the contractor, the consultant will also be monitoring that, but believe me, sometimes I myself go around and look at the work, and I comment. I don't sit by and say it is not my job, because if it is not good, at the end of the day, people will forget everybody. I say, you see, Dr. Samata and his people, look at the kind of building they put for us here. And that song will continue for 10 years, 20 years. Each time people come, it is not good, my name will surface there. And they will say, this is what they did. So you know I cannot stand by and allow work that is not good to be done. But we know from your history you're going to perform well and deliver a state-of-the-art facility here for us. But the building should be very strong, which is going to be confirmed, you know. But we are also very particular about the finishing, because we realize that here, a lot of times we build buildings, the building may be probably strong, but close to the finishing, people want to finish quickly and disappear. And even the plastering is rough. The edges of the building are rough, they are not straight. When the beam is plastered, it is not straight. The doors are not straight. The wash hand basin is not straight. Even the fans that are supposed to be in a row, one is there, one is on the other side, and one is short, one is long, and you know, we will not tolerate all that, we will not accept that. We want good quality, just as if you were building in a Western country. And we know you can do it because you have the potential to do it. And you should also know that we know good work, we know quality work, and will not settle for anything less. So tell your people, this time around, the people you are working for, they know good quality work, and they are committed to having the best facility for the people of this country. So let them pay attention when they plaster the wall. If it is not properly plastered, let them scrape it off and plaster it again, because when we come, we will ask them to chip it up, even if it is dry, to replaster it. So that's how diligent we want the work to be done. And we know you have the capacity, you have the ability to get it done. And that is why really you won the contract, based on your history, based on your experience, and so on and so forth. So once again, we've spoken quite a bit, but we are all very happy and hope to come and inaugurate this in 4 months. I was in told 6 months, because we need to do this. So you negotiated, and we look at the time duration again, because this needs to be functional. In healthcare service delivery, what we keep on saying is whatever can be done efficiently in a timely fashion, we try to do it in a timely manner, because the idea is if it is completed early, that means the people would start benefiting from it. The child who probably would have gotten a needle stick injury at the dump site and developed hepatitis probably would have been saved. That is why timely delivery of healthcare work is very important. Of course, that should never compromise the quality of work. So once again, I want to thank you all for coming here during the heat, during the Ramadan, and sitting for so many hours. But it just goes to say how committed everybody in this country is to seeing a new Gambia, to see a developed Gambia, and that march has started, and it will continue, one project after the other, until the whole Gambia is done, inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Police Band. We are honored to announce the presence and the arrival of the Honorable Minister of Information and Communication, Honorable Ibrahim Basila, and a delegation. We thank you, Honorable, for coming to support your colleague. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, that brought us to the end of this ceremony, and now we would call on the police band to lead us in the national anthem to close the session, and then we will move to the side of the foundation stone laying. Police band.
ok donc mbokk yi comme ni ngeen ko gisee fi mu toll nii lii di ndaje bi tey ndar keppal nañ ko fii muy maanaam jeexagum na fii li ñoo defi ji rek mooy pour ñu dem tegi xeer bu njëkk bi pour wane li mandarga tabax bi niñ ko tàmbalee fii ci biir Farato déggoon ngeen ko ci gannaaw muy jëwriñ bi gàlloo wàllu wér-gu-yaram ak nekkinu askan gi di docteur Ahmadou Samaté ci ay kàddu yi nga xam ne gaaral na ko solo bu béréb bii di am pour jàppale leen ci fànnap liggéey ci buntu jëwriñ bi gàlloo wàllu wér-gu-yaram ndax nee na ca jamono buntu bi amuñoon fi ñuy bugg di sànni seeni mbalit fu askan gi di tuur seeni mbubit foofu lañ ko dee tuuree te dinañ ci dee gis yenn ci ay loraange yi nga xam ne mën na koo jural askan gi rawatina ndaw yi jigéen yi ak góor yi dee dem ci buubeekaay mbalit yooyu di fa fore ji ay bagage te bagage yooyu buñ ko foree dañ ko dee delloo siwaat ci askan gi ñu koy njëriñoo te loolu it lu dëppawut ak lii di wàllu wér-gu-yaram la looloo waral bërëb bi doon bërëb bi nga xam ne dina am solo lool ci seen fànnap liggéey yokk ci itam ñu ne bërëb bi du bërëb bu ne rek wala du yem ci bërëb bi rek ndax am na ñeent ci ay warwaay ay oto yi nga xam ne yooyu ñooy bugg di indi bagage yi nga xam ne mooy mbalit yi pour indil ko gars yi fii pour ñu war koo lakk wala pour ñu war koo denc wala nuñ koy manti def rek pour aar askan gi ci loolu di bagage yooyu lii mu doon mbir bu am solo ci fànnap wér-gu-yaram gi te it bërëb bi doon na bërëb bi nga xam ne buntu jëwriñ bi gàlloo wàllu wér-gu-yaram la ko nguuru Gambia daal di jagleel dina am ay office yu bari wala ay bërëbu liggéeyukaay yu bari yi nga xam ne dinañ ko fi tabax lu ci mel ni bërëbu jàngookaay ci fànnab wér-gu-yaram gi dinañ ko fi tabax tam dinañ fi tabax tam li nga xam ne mooy blood bank bi nga xam ne réewi Gambia dinañ ko am bu di ci jëlee lii di deret saa yu ko askan gi soxlee ak leneen ak yeneen ci ay buntu yi nga xam ne ci fànnab wér-gu-yaram bi la dinañ ko tabax fii badiol comme alaje ñaming bi na beon janto Farato abina kum fala tumalame yalon ko ministro membe marien jata kende ala karola mem docteur Ahmadou Samaté ay kumol ñing banque janka yitandi ko ñimba place be kala place kuma balti jata kende ala bunda karo ñinna katum place lo me yalon ko ate kela suntukum faydula buñing ibe men lo kan damante katum karambum fam be lola janne pour e ka doctorol karandida men anim fanam blood banko Gambia la man sakunda la blood banko nyimbe tar la jam fana anim bunda koten jamal melbe jata kende ala bunda nyim fana wolbe lola janto ning ala sonta betu momento mbitala pour ka block follow nyin lo me ya lon ko wolebe yitandi la doko nyin dato la janto pour ka nyin bungulo suntu ko be karla fayla dameng Gambia banko kan janto andung ay kuma yitandi ko de komanto suntu ko ka faynun damen surtout jata kende alla karo nyin na fanala aka kennon dulal to me yalon ko jamala suntu ko ka fay jelto nin ko mun samuta ko bako te dom site andung aka mantoro le nati jama rahmanu la katumbe yalon ne ko wo dom saito mo dolbi je mel kata je dindiun la musol anin ke kata fenol tombonje ka dundi na marcel kono wala ka ke joron me ya lon ko e ka nafa e ka wolleta ila suol ko la moma na nyindula be kuma ya la bake pour Gambia man sakunda ya loka jegode jata kende a do ko ranjoron la na ila suntukul be karla na la jaya topato jang anin topato ro la me ya lon ko wolle be na ninja labang badiun la mbina foundation na stone kolom floating pour ka yitandi ko datila Farato Oke badul comme ali aje nyaming ibina block kuto block flow nyine lola pour ka ko nyindo ko nying sidatino nyaming bangko kang asidatino nyaming Farato ndong ku kumabal ate jata ken doko nyin tati wala belori nyobala mba nyin kala te governor yaje ko nyin treatment center nyin lo kanjay ite woje nyaadi ila
no bi mala ton de balti ngala ton ngala jay kaje ko welo ko tan bisko jël na gada ko di mel ko am ku balati ane fana ne mal jolom pa fata ñon tan walem kaje ko ñu westi men sen dañen ka lobdik a wes ko jël faralo janteng on ya jibe loptano ñi membe gambe jang asiya batale su dum gada be me gëna banjul janteng so de jolom nak ñu topoto ke fay jolon ka fade men nak dino kede ka cika ke fatna fara men ko bangen kala so kaje ko ñi projet ko ñi nabis ko na faralo jang on ku balti an fana so de bake wala ton le me jël ma ko na fana bi to ma fana ko ni mbara bake ba jël ko na bunda fana me ko ñon tan walem kaje ko way yuru na fa ko di melan ko ak ko kennodi to fana me ko dal bo de ma fana president ko ni mbara bake abaraka
baraka bake governor West Coast region Sane mbokk yi kon lii moo fi xewoon tey fii ci Farato West Coast Region kon ni ngeen ko gisee ndar keppal nañ li nga xam ne moo di ndaje bi waaye it yaakaar nañ fi lekk ay weer ci kanam rek dinañ war a dellu siwaat fii ci Farato pour ubbi bërëb bi nga xam ne nag ñu ngi ko fee tàmbalee tabax tey jii nii te ñi ko tabax muy Coulibaly Construction. Thank you very much then viewers. This is all that we have for you today, and we were here as you had been following us in Farato West Coast region to come and witness the foundation laying stone of the Waste Management Center for the Ministry of Health. Thank you very much.